Hello everyone and welcome to the Willow Witch channel. So we are doing the Cancer May 2023 predictions reading today, and we're going to be doing 3 different tarot decks and 1 oracle deck. Each tarot deck will be used for a different area of the reading. So this first deck here we're going to be using to pull cards, well there we go, on career, finance, education, passion project, anything relevant to that area of your life, okay? So we'll pull all of the cards and then we'll take a look at every segment individually and together to get a complete picture of your May 2023. All right, so this deck we're going to be using as kind of a fun extra category, whatever spirit wants to have come through for you for May 2023. So we'll take a look at it holistically and see what it might be pertaining to for you. Wow, we've got some powerful cards already coming out for you, Cancer, so pretty excited about these. Beautiful. Okay. Make sure that you guys can see that okay. Let's see here. There we go. And then this deck we'll be using for the love and relationships section of your reading. Wow. Beautiful cards. Okay, wow. And then this oracle card is going to be kind of the overall flavor of your month. So we'll take it, and at the end of the reading we'll read a passage from the beautiful guidebook that comes with this deck. This is a Botanical deck. Oh, we've got 2. Beautiful. Okay, so we have ephemeral and humility. So I'm going to arrange these nicely. I'll be right back. All right, Cancer, so we'll get started with your interpretation here. So you have incredibly powerful cards coming out this month. I can definitely see that this is going to be quite a significant month for you. You know, this might be talking about even further on, you know, in the future than the next 30 or 31 days or so. Yeah, because you have the Magician, the High Priestess twice, the Empress, and the Crone, which is the Strength card in this deck. Wow. You know, I mean, the High Priestess came out in this same 3rd position in both your love and relationships area and your career and finance area. And so what I'm getting really strongly for both of these areas of your life, because this 3rd position, how I use that is that's kind of the, you know, furthest out, right? Maybe towards the end of the month, or could even be talking about, you know, further on, or something that you're doing that's going to have a lasting impact into the next month or months. And so with the High Priestess coming out in both significant areas of your life, I'm getting that you, whatever you're doing and working on this month in your career, your love, relationships, you know, finance, you are not only going to be seeing these impacts, definitely getting very positive impacts going into your future months, but also these insights that you're receiving, these messages that you're receiving about these areas of your life are extremely true to like you and your soul. I mean, this woman here, you know, this witch that's depicted is putting these ingredients into this bubbling cauldron, under a full moon, right? And so a lot of significant messages there about, birthing something through these efforts, putting the special ingredients together, gathering everything wisely, having insight into all the pieces that you need to come together, meditating on the best road ahead, whether that's if you're in a relationship or pursuing one, getting that you're going to be getting a lot of essentially downloads. Like this card to me always shows some downloads. Interesting that she has this crescent moon here. So I'm getting that kind of like no matter what time of the month that it is, you'll be getting these messages and getting these insights about your path ahead. I think I'm going to go to your love and relationships section first. And so, with the Empress card here, some of you may be trying to get pregnant, and I'm getting a strong message here that if that's the case, that may be quite successful this month. So congratulations ahead of time if that's something that you are hoping for. And if you are currently pregnant, definitely getting the message that, everything is going well. She's also got a moon here, and, these same little, almost like white beads of light are through this card as well. And so I'm definitely getting that there's a pretty strong connection here between these messages of that you'll be getting, insights about whether this is, a pregnancy. You're going to be maybe getting some downloads or information about your baby. Maybe some of you will get a message about the gender. I'm getting if that's, something that you're wanting, maybe have dreams about that, or just information about who your child will be. So that's pretty exciting. That's a beautiful message. So if that does not apply to you, if you're not trying to get pregnant or have a partner who's trying to get pregnant or is pregnant, then the message that's coming through here is that whatever you're growing with your significant other, whether that is somebody that you are currently with or somebody that is going to be coming into your life in the future, you are essentially like incubating that spark, right? So you're keeping it alive, you're nurturing it, you're building that together, and it might be in kind of a slow growing, seemingly slow growing, subtle way. But these are huge, significant cards, the Empress and the High Priestess. So I'm very much getting the message that those efforts that you're putting in this month are not for naught, that they're very well, very well needed. And it's gonna be a time in your life that you'll look back on and you'll see that the groundwork that you're laying this month, whether that's, important conversations that you're having, self-work that you're doing, going to therapy, journaling, reflecting on, like learning how to communicate your own needs and feelings and desires and assert that in a relationship well, that's going to pay off in dividends, and that you're going to look back on this time in your life and you're going to be so incredibly grateful for the work that you put in here. And with this King of Swords, definitely getting that, reinforcing message that a lot of this work this month is going to be more mental. And then there's also a message coming through for those of you that are single and are looking for a significant person in your life. They may come through in a different form than you were anticipating. So, the King of Swords can often symbolize somebody who is like a worldly traveler or is from a different culture or language. than you. And so, this may be something that you encounter this month, and perhaps you lay some groundwork here that then allows this relationship to move into a more significant partnership, because definitely seeing pretty significant beginnings this month. So whatever you are beginning this month, whether it's moving forward in your current relationship or starting a new relationship, or maybe even making plans to go on a journey or a trip, you may be meeting somebody significant there, and non-gender specific. So whoever the genders are that are depicted on these cards, just take the energy as it comes through and as it's relevant to you and your person or person that you're looking for. Okay. Yeah. Getting a message too that, interestingly, so you see the bat in the background here on this card. So there may be significance in bats to your relationship. So getting that somebody could do research on bats, or just be super fascinated by bats, or have a well-known bat cave in their home country that a lot of people as tourists go and see the bats fly out in the evening. And there might even be some people here who like Batman, or are kind of obsessed with that genre of movies. So yeah, just kind of coming through as a message for some people here. So we'll talk about your career and finance and education and passion project area next. So this can apply really to anything. If you're in school, apply it to that. If you're retired, apply it to that. So if you're starting a side hustle and it sounds more like that, then that might be the message coming through. So we have the Strength card here, which in this deck is the crone. So we see, where typically we would see a young maiden taming the lion. Here we see this wizened older woman who is, basically an incredibly powerful witch in this deck, and she has a lion as her companion. And so the message that I'm getting is the power that you're able to corral this month in your career, passion project, or whatever it is going to surprise even you. I'm seeing you here kind of working at your craft, working at your studies, at your career, maybe even in the dead of night, your mind is still working. You're dreaming and thinking about your, big presentation the next day, or maybe you're concerned about a relationship at work, and so your subconscious is hard at work kind of problem solving for you behind the scenes and putting together those ingredients to make sure that when you wake up in the morning you're good and ready to go. So seeing that coming through as a theme this month for you, and that with this woman and her lion companion as well, it may be that you not only are you acquiring the wisdom that you need to essentially get the job done, but you may have some unexpected help from an unexpected source, right? A lion is not typically who we would expect to see walking by the side of an old woman down the road like this, but there they are, right? And so I'm getting a message from your spirit guides here that there may be some really strong, essentially won't take no for an answer type of assistance that's coming in. So maybe that's an unexpected gift. If you're looking for a business loan, or some sort of venture capitalist is what I'm getting. You might have someone who has a lion personality, or maybe they're a Leo who offers to help you. Same if you need mentorship in some way, or a sponsor for like a project that you're doing in school or as a side hustle. Or maybe you'll have like a really outspoken, almost kind of like flamboyant in that like they really get people's attention type of person who comes in and speaks up on your behalf and speaks to your wisdom and your ability to channel maybe even like wisdom that seems beyond your years is the message that I'm getting. So they might be really inspired by you and really want to be like your advocate essentially, right? And like walk by your side and help you tackle any challenges that get in your way. So yeah, that's your message coming through there. But I am seeing in this other section, which we kind of left open to whatever the spirit guides that are here today with us want to bring forth and kind of talk about in this reading. And there's strong finance information coming through here because we have not only the Magician, we have the Queen of Stones, which is the Queen of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles, and the Nine of Pentacles. So essentially all Pentacles in our minor arcana here. And then the Magician, who is, of course, the master manifester. And so if there's something that you are trying to manifest in your essentially financial sphere, I am seeing such a strong message that you're not going to have any issues this month. There's going to be security, there's going to be protection, and there's going to be something that something that comes through that's more of a traditional way of getting finances. So it might be something that you're not seeing right now, or it may be something that you've already put work into and you've already applied to, or considered applying to, and your guides are definitely giving you a message to go ahead with that, whatever that might be. So Four Stones often appears as a bit of a foundation building card, but also a holding on to the finances that were given in order to utilize them for good means. So definitely getting a message that you'll be able to hold on to finances coming in this month and use them to build for the future. And that also with this Queen of Pentacles here, she's this she's this bear, right? She's got, bears are seen as incredibly wise spirit guides in many cultures across the world, and that they're actually seen as running the ley lines of the earth in a lot of indigenous Native American cultures. And so what that means is that, there are these power lines on the earth. They essentially work similar, they're thought of similarly as like the veins in humans, right? So there's blood that runs through that keeps us going, keeps us alive. And so the ley lines of the earth also keep the earth alive, and they, keep Mother Gaia essentially awake and aware, and keep that energy that courses through her circulating and running at healthy speeds and at a healthy rhythm, and interconnecting all the different places of our land and our sea. And so bears are seen as one of those animals who run those ley lines. And, humans have learned from the ways of the bear and contributed to that in many ancient times gone by. And, certainly there are still cultures who participate in that, but the majority of our world has lost that touch. And so the reason that I'm feeling that this message is coming through, especially with this river running through in the background and the golden color of the sky, is that there's going to be something this month of May, that comes through for you in a way that it almost reminds you how to tap into that energy that interconnects everything, right? And so, if you get a message about manifesting finances that seems a little out there and seems a little like, oh yeah, sure, if I just like meditate about how my so the message that's coming through is getting like this dream or reading this article about doing a meditation where you think about the fact that what you want these finances for will benefit, maybe wildlife, or maybe it's going to benefit the environment, or it's going to help a cleaner climate, or it's going to help people who, need employment in this one area, or, need these skills, and you're going to be able to help bring these skills to, a certain sector of people, whatever it is, right? Meditating on that and essentially focusing on the fact that the finances that come through will, through your hands, essentially, triple or more the benefits that they bring, because you'll be able to essentially like spin that into gold, right? Like you receive, for every penny that you get, 3 pennies are going to go into the hands of people who need those services, and that may not be like exactly like tangible, but like what benefits they get are going to be equivalent to, tripling or more of the money that comes in to help you provide these benefits and these services and knowledge and wisdom and whatever it is that you're bringing to the community that you're helping. Okay, so definitely getting a strong message to, maybe this is the message that comes through to inspire you to do that meditation. So I'd encourage you to look into that, something like that, if that, strikes a chord and resonates for you. Okay, so yeah, and with this master manifester here, I mean, essentially you are becoming this month, and so there's a lot of symbolism in these particular cards about tapping into that manifesting power of the earth. So really grounding, getting out into nature, kind of tapping into those roots and feeling that power that's inherent in, Mother Gaia, right? Like literally the ground beneath your feet is, supporting life, right? Like supporting all life on earth. And so there's a crazy amount of power in that. And, grounding our energy is not only kind of like calming us and bringing us back to a state where we are more receptive and open to getting those inspirations and that guidance that's always coming through and always around us. We just don't always see it and perceive it, right? And so grounding is kind of like getting back to a state of receptivity where we're not just stuck in rumination cycles in our head, but we're actually able to perceive and to take in information that's right in front of us. And going out into nature is one of the most foolproof ways to get back to that state of groundedness. And, going out into nature without headphones, without, constantly looking at your phone or taking pictures, like very much getting a strong like no technology message coming through, because sometimes we can go out to nature and still be really connected and focused in on like social media or that kind of world, right? And so really disconnecting from that, even if it's just for 5 minutes, like it doesn't have to be for like an hour or a day or like, a month retreat into wilderness without like modern amenities, right? Like it literally can just be a 5-minute, go sit on some grass or like walk down a trail behind your office or something like that, and just really tap into whatever you're getting in your five senses. You know, what are you smelling, seeing, tasting? Like, you know, may or may not be safe to actually pick something up and taste it, but you know, taste is a part of like smell out in the world, right? So yeah, but you know, hearing and feeling, right? So if it's, you know, makes sense, take off your shoes, take off your socks, you know, touch some leaves, right? Like touch some grass, touch some dirt, you know. So all right, we'll move on from that message because I feel like I'm waxing on, but definitely a strong message about getting into nature coming through for you guys. So with this ephemeral daylily card, you guys actually got dandelion and daylily. So the two D lettered flowers in this deck. So maybe D is, you know, maybe some of your names start with D or your last name, or maybe something that's important to you, maybe a country or something like that starts with D. So if that resonates, yeah, just take that message. If not, then no worries. So we've got humility for the dandelion and ephemeral for the daylily. And I love the illustrations on these cards. They're so simple and yet elegant. So dandelions are really interesting in this deck. They talk a lot. It talks about how the dandelion around the world is often seen as a pest, right? It's seen as a weed. It can even be seen as invasive. And yet it's one of the most nutritionally dense and actually provides food and shelter and medicine to a huge variety of creatures around the world, not just humans. You know, dandelions are edible. A lot of people will eat the leaves, but a large amount of pollinators rely on dandelions. They feed a wide variety of our insect life. And so, you know, they can kind of be overlooked, taken for granted. And so, yeah, it's an interesting message to come through for this month, you know, especially with the fact that you're kind of quietly working in your love life, and that perhaps, you know, there may be some message of kind of quietly working in the background here too in your career life. So there may be a lot of that going on where you also resonate with this message of, you know, at times being taken for granted, but being incredibly beneficial to the environment that you're in and the other, you know, other people and other creatures in your environment, right? So, you know, don't forget that. Like, don't take yourself for granted. You know, be your own best advocate in this, where, you know, even if you're overlooked at times, like, remind yourself of your incredible intrinsic worth, that you're not, you know, I'm getting like imposter syndrome for some people here. And so, you know, sometimes when we are naturally humble, that can kind of come in hand in hand. And I'm getting a strong message from your guides that they want you to, like, try, you know, it's hard, right? But try to set that aside, of that feeling of being an imposter in whatever environment that you're in, whether it's love, career, education. You are an intrinsic piece, and so many people see and value your worth and get so much from you just from being in the same environment from you. Like, you bring, you know, dandelions turn into these wish flowers, right? So in the culture that I'm in the US, there's, you know, this thing that people do where they pluck a dandelion and they blow the little seedlings from the head, right? And they make a wish, and as the seedlings float away off in the wind, you know, they are sending that wish essentially up to hopefully be granted. And so the message that I'm getting from your spirit guides here is that like you help people to like have that inspiration to make wishes, right? And so maybe you're like, there could be literally some people watching this pile who are like people who help other people's wishes come true, like help people manifest their dreams, right? And that makes a lot of sense as to why like sometimes you might be the one who's taken for granted, because like it's these other people who are accomplishing these like big flashy things, and you're kind of like behind the scenes just you know doing all of the really critical essential stuff that like if you weren't there, their dream wouldn't be being realized, but you're not the one in the spotlight getting all the credit, right? But like you're incredibly essential, and you're nurturing these, like you're like that keystone species, right? Like if you were gone from the environment, it would all topple. So yeah, definitely getting a strong message there for your guide from your guides. And then with this daylily ephemeral card, the main message in the guidebook for this card is that daylilies only bloom for one day and then they're gone, right? And so the message that's coming through here is like, one, yeah, don't take yourself for granted. Like the effort that you put through is this beautiful, I'm getting for some of you that whatever you're involved with work can feel like a flash in the pan, where it's like work, 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 and then you have like your moment in the sun, or your work has its moment in the sun, and then it's like gone and like moving on. So, whatever that looks like. Sometimes being in school, if that is where you're at, can feel like that, where you put all this work into like a paper or something, a presentation, and then you do it, and then like you move on and you never look at it again, and you kind of like forget about it, right? And it can almost feel a little pointless at times, or like, well, what am I doing all this work for? So a message that's coming through here, especially with this Four of Stones and building strong foundations, is I'm getting actually a really strong message for a lot of you, whether you're in school or you're in a career, or you're kind of trying to build towards changing careers, or starting like a side business that you're hoping to build into your main business, is actually to build a portfolio. And so what that means, what that kind of like translates to here, is that any of these things that could seem like a little flash in the pan and bright moment and then it's gone, capture that bright moment. So literally, put things into your portfolio that display those individual achievements, right? So like capture some of the qualities that you displayed when you did that particular project. What did you accomplish? What did you learn? What skills did you acquire? Did you manage a team? Like, what was your role, right? Like, did you have to communicate with a stakeholder? Like, what, did they say something in an email that was really flattering? Like, put that quote in there into your portfolio, start building this like almost reference material for you that you can show, and not have all of this time and effort that you've put into various things in your past just be, here and then gone. Like capture them, write them down, have like visual aids if it makes sense, and put it all together in one place, whether that's like electronic or physical or a combination of both. And that way it's preserved, kind of like the picture of this daylily blooming, right? Like we get to enjoy this as long as we have this, this card, this picture of this daylily. Whereas if it was just blooming outside, it's, there and gone in one day, right? So, okay, guys, so that's the message that I am getting for your May 2023. Thank you so much for joining me here today. If you feel so inspired, it would really help out my channel if you subscribe comment, like this video, and I can't wait to see you again in a future video. Okay, bye-bye.